BeanAnimal Overflow. The primary design of the BeanAnimal is you have three standpipes. Most people are familiar with the Herbie style overflow. We only have two. Here we have three. We have the main, which is fully submerged on the right. That one is flowing, I would say, close to 1,300, 1,400 gallons per hour right now. Then we have the one in the middle, the straight pipe. It's the emergency. It's above water all the time. I'll show you that from the back later. And then over here, you can kind of see it, is the secondary drain, which is not quite fully submerged. There's water going through there with a bit of air. You can't hear it because there's not very much flow going through it. And so what I've done basically with my design here, not unique, I've taken it from something I saw online. I have, it's a 4-foot overflow. Let me open up my canister here. It's a 4-foot overflow basically, starting from about here all the way across. It's all made out of glass, and it's only 1 inch thick coming into the tank. It's not your typical 4-foot overflow that you often see. Not 4-foot, 4-inch overflow that you often see in a tank. I'll show you the width of it right here. So you can see it's only about 1 inch thick right here. So what that internal section of the overflow is doing is simply catching the water. So you can see the water height up here. Good flow coming in, good surface movement, good O2 exchange. Water goes over the edge into the internal overflow, and in the back of my tank I have 3 holes, 1 3/4 inch holes. You see one right there, another one right there, and a third one right there. That allows the water coming in through the overflow to go into the external overflow in the back of the tank, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, now what we're looking at here is the external, the back of the tank, where those 3 holes that I showed you earlier come to. If you look at them here, you can kind of see the 3 holes. There's 1, 2, and there's a third one. So in front of each of the pipes, my full siphon, the emergency in the middle, and the secondary, there's a hole feeding water into the external overflow. Looking at it like this, you can see we have the fully submerged drain taking, I would say, close to 95% of the flow, if not a little bit more. My emergency only comes on, only kicks in usually during startup. Whenever I start the pump, water comes up a little high, drains through there, everything settles down, and then gets to the level that you're looking at now. And then the secondary, you can see a pipe, a tube coming out. That's an air tube. Allows air in. What I've done, what you do with the BeanAnimal, you have the pipe just above water level, basically, as you can see right here. If the water level comes too high, it'll block that pipe, the air from going in that pipe, and it'll create a full siphon from that secondary drain, which also acts as an emergency as well. But I can get full drain from that, over 1,000 gallons per hour for sure. So it's another backup as well. This is simply some glass silicone to the back of the tank that I did. Put a couple of braces underneath, glass braces as well underneath. These are my drain pipes. Hi everyone. Here we have the sump area. You can see here I have the 3 returns, the drains coming down. The one on the left is the one on the right is the full siphon, which you saw at the top. The one in the middle is the emergency, which is above the water. if ever the water flow up in the overflow box, the external overflow box should go too high, it'll go down the emergency. The one on the left is the secondary drain, probably draining at the very most, maybe 20, maybe 50 gallons per hour at the most. If we zoom in on this, going at the bottom here, you can see the two drains underwater. The water level is a little bit low right now. There, the tape is my high water level. I have to add a bit more water actually. But you can see some of the flow probably based on the movement at the bottom there. It's a little bit hard to see. Maybe if I come in at the top here. The benefit of this is there's no splashing. All the pipes are submerged, so you don't have that big splash. Less CO2 loss. Very quiet. You don't have the again, if you don't have that splashing, it's very quiet. So what happens now is the water is coming in through the drains here, coming down through the 1-inch coarse filter pad, coming down back up here. I have about a 1.5-inch space right here for the water to come back up into my biomedia. So I have 2 bags here. I'll show you from the top. I have some ceramic rings right here at the top. These are from an old filter actually. I just threw them in there. I want to preserve them in case I start up that old filter again. And below that I have some lava rocks, about 20 pounds of lava rock. A little bit dark there, but you can see it. That comes out the bottom into my pump area. The pump area right now, I have 2 pumps actually. I have a MAG 9.5, the one in the front you see in here. That has a fractioning impeller and the CO2 is being fed into that. You can see the CO2 tube right here, the blue tube. So it's feeding CO2 into the 9.5, which is actually the outlet of that. You can see it from here. It's kind of pushed up against the foam filter of the MAG 1800. You can see it right there. That MAG 1800 is probably flowing about 1,500 gallons per hour back into the tank, 1,400 more or less. What I've done, it's a 3/4 inch outlet, but I've connected it to a 1-inch PVC pipe for the first couple of feet, not even. Then I have a hose barb with 3/4 inch flexible pipe tubing going back up into the tank. Same on this side, 3/4 inch. The 1-inch goes to a 3/4 inch barb into the back into the tank. So I have two outlets in the tank with the lock line. You'll see that later as well. So. Okay, now we're going to look at the returns I have in the tank. I showed you in the sump area where I have my 1800 going to a 1-inch PVC pipe, and from there it split into 2 3/4 inch pipes. Right now I'm on the left side of the tank, and you see the smaller black pipe here with the whitish colored silicone tube coming out of it. I'm not going to talk about the bigger pipe on the left. That's my basically the rib piping is from a Fluval FX5 regular canister filter with biomedia. But right now what's important, what I'm going to talk about is the return from the sump. What's very important with any sump, mine or whether it be a Herbie or BeanAnimal, you want to create a siphon break in the return pump. That's what I'm doing here with the white silicone. A lot of people basically drill a hole in the pipe and let it outflow into the tank. I had that going at one point. I found it was first of all, I didn't like it above the water. Some people have it above the water and it kind of splashes into the water. I had at one point another pipe there with the siphon break below the water line, but I found that the water was draining too much, and it was resulting in me being able to put less and less water in my sump, my tank below. So what I've done is I've drilled the hole here, you can see on the side. I've attached a silicone tube in the hole, and I've tie wrapped that to the to my return. And that silicone tube is just barely below the water surface, basically. In fact, the pipes the siphon brake will kick in before the water even goes below the overflow. I'll show that in a minute. Without that siphon brake, what would happen is your water would drain down to the lowest point of your return. In this case, where you see my two lock lines right here, the water would drain down to that lowest point. Now what happens is air gets sucked into the silicone tube, creates a siphon brake, resulting in just air being sucked into the return rather than water. I'll show you that. Maybe we'll come over here too. I'll show it to you on this side. Here's my other return. That one has a blue silicone tube sticking out of it. Same principle. Silicone tube comes out the side that has there's a hole, and then that's tie wrapped to the return, and the silicone tube is barely below the water line. So when I turn off, I'll turn off the pump here. That's the water, air being sucked into the air tube, into the silicone tube, and that's it. It stops right there. When you turn it back on, I have one return there, another return kind of on the side here. You see it a bit. When I turn the pump back on, you'll see air just shooting out. That's the air that's in the return. And that's it. So again, with any type of overflow, Herbie, Dorso, it doesn't matter. If you have a sump below your tank, you have to have a siphon brake in your return, or you will drain your tank to the lowest point of your return. That's it. Turn it off, you'll see the water level come up. That's the air. There's pretty much no more water in the pipes. As you can see, the water level could be a bit higher there. I have to add water to the sump. Turn it back on. Starts up without fail. Water level will go down. Later on, I'll show you a picture from the external overflow. You'll see it come up. You'll see the water level go up. Then it'll go down again. Everything will settle down. If you look down in here, everything will settle down. And there we go. Started up. So I have here, the water is going to start coming in. You see it flowing. Water level comes up. Comes up just a little bit above the drain. The emergency drain, and it'll go back down. Everything will settle down. You see everything going down now. It's going to settle down to the point. This is approximately the level that I'm looking for. That's it.